Alright, so let's get to it. Second story in this romance of ours, All Hail the King. A star to the firmament, the mouthpiece of fire. Green flames dancing, preserving eminence. The king burns brightly on the pyre. Of song, a song to the firmaments, of horn, of drum, of gong. His last dance to the elements, of iron, of fire, of song. Put a piece of red pepper in his mouth. Let him heave and cough. Though he be dead still, let fire burn his chest shrill, for spirits roar and not talk. These are the words sung over and over again when the king dies where I'm from. They create the visuals for the burial rites, for the very covert ceremony, for the interment of the dead king. If you're not there to witness, I can tell you for free, it's not as grandeur as one would think. It, in its base, is an outdoor cremation with old bare-chested sweaty men tending to a fire of select logs of wood, sweet-scented when burnt, chanting and singing for long hours until bone is ash and all traces of the dead king is gone. The songs have a period for only instruments, all silence, either vocals and instruments or all three, with silence punctuating at a 2-second burst mid-song. The wood is special, for I have never seen bone turn to ash in open air. Bone burns to ash at 1500 degrees Celsius, and that I can say is the only spectacle. As to the green flames alluded to in the song, I cannot tell. Some of the older men swear to it as a truth of older times when things weren't so corrupt, while others blame it on my spiritual eyes not being fully opened yet. I admit, I have seen some hue of green in the flame, but who wouldn't in this dense, humid, hot night of dancing, fatigue, and unclear thought? True to the words, pieces of red pepper are placed in his mouth as the king is laid on a pyre, while this song is chanted all night long. The pieces of pepper are specifically picked, long, curved, and finger-like, and are as specific as they are symbolic. The pepper is placed in his mouth and is required for the dead king to be able to be understood by his ancestors when he speaks in the land of the dead. Personally, all this does is cut an impressive picture as of one with fire coming out of his mouth to an added unbeliever in these customs, such as I. I'll get to why I have to grace this occasion, and it will be clear as why it's such a bother to begin with. To explain the part of understanding the voice of the gods, no true king would ever have ascended the throne without first hearing the spirits speak. This is what I have been tutored, and be tutored I must, for clarity and propriety's sake. Clarity, for there are many things which I do not understand, and propriety, for I absolutely must attend this ceremony. The chant is for a select few, only those older than the age of the demised king. Everyone else must remain silent throughout the whole spectacle. The procession starts in the king's palace and carries on all night, all through the town, out in open sky, as I have mentioned before. On the chosen date, a shrouded cult carefully curated from a crucible of spirituality, testament, and time will on ceremonies like these have the right of way. And this is broadcast extensively, for death meets anyone who they encounter on their walk of the dead. It has been rumored that in times past, members didn't know each other and their admittance was initiated only through dreams and visions. There had been a time when one didn't dare lie about a thing like that, and times that had been less corrupt. I got my initiate through text message. The king is dead. Your presence is required at the palace immediately, on the 14th of next month. Pertinent matters as to burial right to be discussed. Your presence is mandatory. End of text. I often ponder how burials of late kings have been carried out successfully with all that uncertainty of dreams and visions. I thank the stars my text was very direct. Well, as it stands, we are yet to have an unsuccessful royal burial rite. One thing is certain, every member who belongs or has belonged to this elite group has to be steeped in tradition of our people. I, truth be told, am the exception to the rule. My inclusion to this elite group has been hurried, labored, and in my opinion, tainted. I'm a bespoke suit wearing, slightly awkward lawyer by profession who has shied away from everything culture when I had the chance to get away from it at 15. Remembering little by choice, except the horrors. I carved out a life for myself outside the life I knew growing up in the village. It is forbidden to peep at the parade as it moves along, but I'll let you in. Our feet are caked up with mud and sweat 30 minutes in from all the marching. Remarkably, our voices are not sore, speaking for myself, of course. For the song has yelling, soft singing, and moments of silence all in one. I can attest to some mysticism, but as I've explained before, the mind will begin to play tricks once all the senses have been made to collide at once. I did not feel the intense heat from the pyre as we moved along, which was quite odd, and I heard this folklore as a child from people who had sworn they had peeped at the scene cowering from the windows of their houses. The sweat only came from the rigor of our gyrating bodies. Oddly, in addition, the song was all but new to me, but the second I heard it chanted for the first time, I was well versed in it, as though I had been here before. When a king is chosen, he is born, not reborn. This is the saying where I'm from. Whatever life he lived before his investiture was not living, but a swirling in the dark abyss of an existence, as he is expected to be risen with the spirits, with a clear guide on how to lead his people. It helps that he is born again into an inheritance of power and opulence, for there is a tax system pre-existing times of old that transformed from farm produce to bronze to gold and to a hefty Swiss bank account for him to draw from at his discretion. It is a pool from every indigent labor and sweat, a communal good for the furtherance of the kingdom. All these understandably makes king-making where I'm from in modern day exceptionally corrupt, especially as ascending the throne is settled not by lineage, neither is it non-partisan, but totally dependent on the gods. The underlying question for the modern day man who is wealthy and desires such power is, what part does the mighty god of avarice play in this? The times have made vying for this position of king treacherous and sans gods, and the duty of a kingmaker is very tedious, and I have the exceptional privilege of being one. The dead king lived 4 generations, dying well over 100 years, outliving both my grandfather and father.